Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be discussing dealing with stress. This is probably something that should have hit maybe a few weeks ago at the beginning of this pandemic situation, but I thought it would be good to hit it now. And I recognized in myself there were some things that didn't exactly go right the other day, yesterday be exact, where I really started to get stressed and I really let myself, kind of go. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So a little backstory. I think a lot of us, if you have the ability, have been ordering a lot of stuff through the mail, online, to keep from going out in the stores. And I've been doing my fair share of that. Actually, I've been doing a lot of that. But I typically, probably once a week, have something coming from UPS. So they come here all the time. So yesterday, whenever the kids were physical distancing with their mom in the driveway, I set up a tarp to give them some shade, because in the evening the sun comes this way, and whoever's sitting here, which are the people from the house, and then the ex and my other daughter sit 6 feet away on the driveway. So I set up a tarp just to give some wind block, so that it's really tough whenever you're staring into the sun. So anyways, did that. I stayed in the house, let them have their visit, which went fine. And come to find out, I get the notification, UPS has delivered your package. I'm like, that's weird. No doorbell. Doorbell didn't go off or anything like that. Look outside. Nothing. There's nothing. And I'm like, crap. Check the neighbors. They don't have it. And I live in a cul-de-sac. So, it's like there's only, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses in this cul-de-sac. That's it. And I noticed that I really started getting angry and ticked off. And I talk about this a lot in the context of dealing with the ex. But this equally works for anything else. If you're even just normal life stuff like this, like a stupid package. Yeah, it's annoying. Yes, there's a potential loss. Yes, it's going to be a pain to get it fixed. But is it really worth, or was it really worth me getting upset, getting angry, kind of raising the entire stress in the house? And the answer is no. But here's the thing. This is what you have to kind of, to take a step back and deconstruct everything. You have to look at everything in general. Prior to that, I had gone to the hardware store, grabbed some stuff, and I had asked my daughter earlier, I'm like, hey, are you going to do the thing in the front yard? And what I meant was, are you going to take the crayon chalk, sidewalk chalk, and are you going to work on some more artwork? And maybe if I can, I'll intersperse some of the stuff she's been drawing, or coloring, or whatever you call it. She said yes, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I go to the store, I come back, she's sitting out in the driveway, but she's not drawing, and I'm like, what do you? Oh, okay, and then I go in, and my son says, oh, hey, mommy's coming over in a little bit, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Come back, ask, and my daughter's like, oh yeah. So that's the first part of the stress, right? Not that I really cared, but it's like I wanted to do this tarp thing so that the sun would be taken care of. I cleaned, my truck is outside because I was doing some stuff in the garage to put my camping stuff away and reorganize and throw some stuff away. So I've been doing some, cleaning. So that got me a little stressed too, right? So, but I thought I calmed down from that. But when the package thing happened, it was like a trigger point. I got really frustrated. Initially, I was like, damn, the UPS guy drove by, because ultimately that's what I found out. The UPS truck drove by, went to the house that's right over there, delivered a couple of packages, not my packages, and drove off. And I'm thinking, oh, great, they saw people here and didn't want to mess with it and just didn't even deliver the packages. So I don't know what happened. Tomorrow I can submit the claim thing for them to try to investigate what happened with it. But my point is, I had this subtle buildup of stressors until something that really wasn't that significant just sent me over the top. That really got me frustrated and got me, I think, reacting to everything down the line. I mean, I've been stressed with stuff that, stuff's going on at work that's kind of stressful and making me anxious and I'm trying to fix. Then you add the thing with the ex, and then the whole package thing, and it all culminated to where I really it just got too much. I'm sure most of you can experience that. I think it's a very common thing. The problem in our situation is, or if you're in this type of situation with parental alienation and stuff, which technically I'm farther past all this, so it doesn't really matter as much. But every time you lose it, every time you have a backslide, it typically, especially if your kids are younger, or if that alienation is starting to stick, it's worse. And we get up in this situation to where we constantly have to be on our A game. And I know that's not possible. I mean, we can't always be perfect and we can't always not make mistakes. I mean, we're human, so people make mistakes. But I think if you can think about this and be mindful of it, so that if you find yourself doing that, you can take a pause and say, okay, why am I getting mad? And is it really worth getting angry over? For instance, take this package thing. I mean, I'm getting mad because it didn't show up. I'm getting mad because it was a couple $100 order that just got lost, and it's going to be hard to replace because of what it was. So that was a potential. But realistically, it's like, was it anything super critical? Was it something that I absolutely had to have? No. Was it something that wasn't in was it like a computer or an expensive camera or something like that? No. So my response wasn't really appropriate or measured for the situation. But because of all those other issues bubbling it up, it was like the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, and caused me to have a bad reaction. It's super important that you catch yourself when these things happen. It's super important that you take a breath, and I wish I would have done it. Take a breath, relax, and say, okay, I'll get this figured out. How important is, how bad is this? And then what are the steps to mitigate it or remedy it? So today, try to call UPS, try to call the vendor. Obviously the vendor is, I can't get a hold of anybody right now because of the pandemic and they're being swamped. But, it's like, okay, did the thing online, finally did talk to somebody at UPS. They're like, go and submit a claim form. Started to do that. It's like, can't do it for 24 hours. There's a possibility that whoever got the package, maybe, hopefully, will realize that it's not their package and drop it off at the door. Maybe it'll all work out. Typically things have a tendency to work out. So that's the first thing. And then, like I said, then look at it. It's like, okay, what can you do to remedy it? And try to keep it in perspective. The hard part is to recognize that you're not really angry about that last thing that set you off. And that last thing could be the kids saying something to you, them not doing something. And you just have to make sure that your response to that issue is measured and appropriate. Because I'll tell you, if it's not, and parental alienation is already going on, it's going to create more problems. Because what's going to happen is you've already been painted as this person who's out of control or a monster or whatever. Typically what's happening is your ex is poking your buttons, and then you explode, and then in your kid's mind, or hell, even anybody for that matter, they're going to look at it and say, oh, well, there you go. You're out of control. you short fuse. See, nobody ever looks at the short fuse comment that you got somebody over there going boop, 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 boop. And then when you finally respond, you're not responding to the one chest poke. You're responding to all of it combined together, but nobody sees it. So hope this was helpful. I hope that maybe if you're in this, especially in this time, because we are under a tremendous amount of stress, depending on where you are. Like in California, we're still in lockdown. The governor's talking about opening stuff up, and maybe, and then you read the news, or not read the news, you watch the news, and they're talking about, oh my God, the numbers are going to go crazy. Then you got other people saying this is all BS. And it's like, what do you do? How do you figure this out? You got some people who are okay that, like I guess in that situation, I mean, I'm kind of in that camp. My job's stable, I'm getting paid, my benefits are okay, at least for right now. And then you got other people whose lives have been destroyed. They've lost their jobs because they can't go to work. Maybe they're in a situation to where they're not even eligible for any of the stimulus. And to be perfectly honest, what the hell is $1,200? Even if you got it, that's enough to put some food on the table for a month. I mean, if you stop paying everything and just paid for the essentials to keep it going, like food, maybe you could stretch that out, but that's not going to cover, that's not going to cover anything. So you add that stress into your life. This is a really stressful time. So look at it, be measured in your approach, really think about it, and realize a lot of times getting angry, I mean, anger is is a valid emotion, but a lot of times it's counterproductive. So curious how you are dealing with this type of situation. Are you noticing extra stressors? I was really surprised for me that little thing set me off as much as it did. Are you having those problems too? And if you are, how are you dealing with it? How are you approaching it to kind of minimize the effect? And on that, I did post a video on my other channel of an adventure that my daughter and I did. So if you get a chance, check it out. I think that channel's up to like 22 subscribers. All right, guys. Be easy on yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you make a mistake. We all make mistakes. The measure is do you learn from it, and do you try to better yourself from it, or do you just say, this is the way it is and I'm going to be this way? All right. Chat with you on the next video. Take care.